Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new video. And today we're going to do something interesting, because are you sick and tired of seeing tier list videos? I definitely am. So I decided to make one because it's still fun, right? Yeah, today we're gonna make a tier list video. I've got this tier list next to me. I'm gonna start it up in a second. We're gonna rank all the national selections of this year. Yes, it's gonna be really interesting. Don't be butthurt if your favorite selection is in the bottom or in the top. I'll explain everything. Big factors are, of course, the songs this year, the overall quality of the show, and we just gotta do it comparatively to previous years. Not necessarily last year only, but like last few years. So like if we're just gonna say, who puts the most money in it, it would be really boring, just like Melody Festivalen, Sanremo. You can speak it out for yourself. No, it's going to be comparatively to previous years, and yeah, we're going to jump in. So let's go. So I've got my laptop on my lap, as you can see, and we've got the tier list here. I'm going to look at the camera sometimes, and my laptop should be recording the tier list thingy, and if it's not, then I'm sorry. I'm going to split this up in a few parts because, you know, it makes it a bit easier to editing, yes. But yeah, let's get this thing started. We've got all the national selections in here. We've got basically all 24. I was considering not including San Marino, but in the end, you know, was sort of a national selection. We're freaking obsessed here. So yeah, let's start with San Marino actually. It's interesting. It's basically like last minute they were like, we got two songs, we can't really decide. What should we select out of these two? And was it really a national selection? I don't think so. Also, we should point out that the tiers are absolutely amazing, which is S tier. A tier is great, you know, great show, nothing much to say. Okay/good, I mean, there were some minor points, some major failures, or yeah, so it was okay, not the best. The tier was like, yeah, it could be better. And the D is massive letdowns compared to other years. Just good to know, right? Yes. Yeah, let's start with San Marino. So it was kind of like, out of nowhere, people were like, okay, we don't know which of these two songs to use. Help us. Can we really call it a national selection? I don't think so. Is it interesting that people can vote for the song? Yeah. Both songs were not the best, in my opinion. But it's what you expect for San Marino. Just need to go with funky, with some fun stuff. And they were both fun, right? But I guess because of the idea, I should probably put it in C. And, you know, the idea is cool that we can at least like vote. Maybe they can do it a bit more like Czech Republic does now with a few songs and online voting. But they should announce it way earlier, right? I think San Marino would fit in the C tier really well. It was a bit last minute thing. It's not a massive letdown because it's a new thing. Yeah, that's where we're going to put San Marino. And the next selection, let's see, which are we going to do next? Let me see. Let me go to UMK. UMK was Uden Musikun Kipulin. They went back to a new format, right? With 6 different artists trying to win again, not one artist having multiple songs. That's what other selections did do. But they really went back to what they used to do, but not with as many songs. Also, I think overall the song quality was a bit lackluster. I think it was not necessarily all boring, but a bit stale. And the fun out there songs were like both a bit kitsch, in my opinion. Like Cicciolina, I mean, it will have its cult following. Oops. It will have its cult following, right? And that's great and whatnot, but it's not something that I would like to see in my ideal Eurovision. And Bananas was just probably one of the worst songs in Eurovision this year. Sorry if you like it. I personally don't. Yeah, so it's good that they go back to the system. I really think so. Execution-wise, it could have been better. So, like, good that they go for new things. So B tier, but execution wasn't really that good. So maybe put it in C tier as well next to San Marino. I think that's fair. Yes, I think that's fair. Okay, up next, you know, we just talked about it. Romania did the exact opposite of what UMK did this year. Romania went back to, not back, they went for one artist in Roxanne, And they were like, oh, let's see where we can let this go. You know, we give her 5 songs and the audience can choose which of these 5 will go to Eurovision for us. I think it was a lovely idea. I think it really worked out well. Roxanne is a really good performer. She got a lovely voice and she's really unique. The thing is, she kind of had a favorite. It was very obvious that she had her favorite song, which was I'll Call You. And yeah, it won in the end. But you could really see, especially Cherry Red was really done without much emotion. You know, she knew Cherry Red was a massive fan favorite in the community. And, you know, Cherry Red was already going to be a difficult song to perform because it was at a very awkward BPM. But she made sure that it definitely had no chance at winning. So maybe that is why I put it lower. I think otherwise I put it at great, at A tier. Oh, goddamn, I need to get used to this. But because the performances weren't like super up there, I think I'm going to put it at B tier. Because it was still great that they went for something like this. And maybe they'll go again for something like it next year. So it's a good new direction for Romania. The execution was just a bit left to be desired, I guess. Overall show was really good though. But I think B tier is good, but like a high B tier, right? Maybe we should like rank them also in how far. So maybe we should UMK put them so like that. Perfect. So let's go on to the next. So what should we pick next? Should we pick I feel like another exciting one to talk about is Vitbeer. I think Vitbeer is an interesting one this year. Vitbeer was hampered by what happened last year, I think. They made the rules stricter. They made sure that the artist would not perform in Russia. They would pay half of the price or something like that if they won. And I thought because of those rule changes and because of what happened last year, they wouldn't have any good songs this year. So because of all the drama last year, and in general, I think the overall song quality also really improved. Like last year, I think a lot of the songs were like, okay, good, but not necessarily a lot of variety or nothing amazing. And this year, it was so many different genres, so many different good things. I mean, there were also like subpar things, all okay, but it was so diverse, so good. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really enjoyed Vitbeer this year. And maybe the final wasn't the best, but does that really matter? I think I had a lot of fun with Vitbeer. I think an A tier placement is very suitable here. The winner was amazing, really unique. And if you saw my top 20 national final songs, there were some Vitbeer songs in there as well. Yeah, I think A tier is good for Vitbeer this year. I was amazed by how good it was compared to what happened last year. And I think that is a massive thing to keep in mind, that I didn't expect it to be good this year. I expected Vitbeer to be one of the worst, if I'm honest. Yeah, I think this is fair. On to the next. Yeah, we haven't done any massive letdowns, so let's do one of those. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? I think the absolute worst selection this year compared to previous year is Estonia. Oh, don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Do not shoot me. Okay? Don't. I think Estonia was the absolute worst. Hear me out. Hear me out. So 2 years ago, they had a nice system with like 16 songs, 12 songs, something like that, competing. A lot of diversity, quite high quality in song production. It was quite a good show, but they decided to change the rules a little bit, and they had a different way of selecting the songs in the beginning, like submitting the songs with money-wise and stuff like that. In my opinion, last year they were probably top 5. I think the songs were maybe a bit stale, a bit too bland pop, but I loved the direction they were taking. It was a lot of young talent that were just undiscovered, and they were given a platform, right? Islao gave them a platform. Look, here, perform. And I absolutely loved it. And I was really curious to see where they were going this year. All of the artists that returned from last year, that made last year so exciting, this year there was only literally one that had a better song. All of the rest were absolutely miles below the standard that they delivered last year. I think the only one that improved was Inger. Inger had a bit more interesting structure to the song, but still it was kind of the same. Yeah, I think this year was even more stale than it was last year, and I had hoped that all those young new voices and ideas and brain power would make the song or the contest a bit more interesting and diverse. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I think ESCited, compared to other years, this was the worst this year. And I was looking forward. And the thing is, the songs on its own is something, right? It's something like, okay, there were still some good things. The live performances of those songs, either vocally or just how it was visually, it wasn't good. It wasn't really good at all. I think there were only like a few that delivered live vocally. I think there were only a few that delivered staging-wise. Staging was like barely existent and such a massive letdown for me. And I really hope that ESCited picks itself back together and goes for gold again next year. Because the idea is really good. The young artists getting involved is really good. Just this year was really, really bad. I'm sorry if you're Estonian or if you love the Estonian selection. I just think it wasn't good this year, okay? Okay, let's move on. Should we immediately add one to that list? It's a bit like a lot of down talk, right? Which one do I want to talk about next? I think, yeah, let's go for another one that wasn't that good. DP Efratezil. Like, look, when they announced in like the beginning of December, I think 1st of December even, they announced, okay, we will have DP Efratezil back. Lovely, 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 lovely. I was really excited for it. In 2018, I thought it was a great show. It had lots of variety in their own little bubble. They had a lot of cultural stuff that was still high quality, good singers. They had the weird and quirky stuff with Puerto Rico. We had, the winner was a bit maybe, but overall, I think that show was really good. So I was really excited to see where they were going this year. And when I heard those songs, I was like, is this it? Is this genuinely it? There were literally 3 songs that I seemed or deemed Eurovision ready. I think the rest was either the English wasn't too good or the production wasn't too good. It just sounded a bit too amateuristic for my likings. So the DP Efratezil wasn't something that I really enjoyed. I think the winner was deserved. I think she was probably when performed live the best compared to a studio track. By a landslide, Athena should have won. And she did, but she didn't really win either of the votes, right? But I think it's still good that she won. But DP Efratezil was a really massive letdown for me too. It was still better than ESCited though, so there's that. Okay, now let's go out of oh, I agree with the cookies. Thank you. Let's go for something positive. Should we go for absolutely amazing immediately? Maybe. I think we should talk about Czech Republic. Czech Republic has a really interesting system now. It worked with Mikolas Joseph when he won. I mean, we saw by a landslide that Mikolas had the best song that year. With that, they had the best performance ever. Last year, it wasn't that strong of a selection, I think. I think overall songs were really like, it kind of felt the same and it felt a bit amateuristic. Somehow Lake Malawi turned that around and the live performance in Ukraine really made us go all on board. And when it came to Eurovision, it was actually really good. So ESCZ last year was quite cool, but lackluster in songs. This year, we had so much variety. It would have been a lovely mini EP kind of thing. You had the ballads in Karol, you had Olga Lunova, you had Barbara Mochua with amazing ballads, and all 3 sounded different to each other. Then you had Pam Rabbit doing something really interesting. We had We All Poop with a really cool band song that we desperately need in Eurovision. What do we have more? We had Alice Mraz with something that we don't think we've ever seen before. A bit of rap-infused fun pop song. I don't really know how to call it, but it was also really interesting to have such a song in there. Also, the winner to me, it was perfectly fine. Que Mama is reggaeton, kind of Afrobeat kind of song. I thought it was really cool that that won. I didn't expect it to win, but it was really cool that it won, in my opinion. So to me, ESCZ, 7 amazing songs. It could have been a lovely EP. I think ESCZ was this year absolutely amazing. I don't think I can see any. The only minor point is that they promised us a live show, and that in the end didn't go through, which is really unfortunate, but not expected, but understandable at least. So maybe we'll get the live show next year, and then we may have different results, but we will never know. I think ESCZ was absolutely amazing this year, and I hope they continue the trend of delivering good music, because this was really, really good music-wise. Okay? Yeah. Absolutely amazing. S tier for Czech Republic this year. Let's move on. Okay, so lovely. I just recorded I added 7 more countries to this, and I noticed that my laptop wasn't recording. Let's move on though. I kind of retraced those steps, so it's okay. I had a full on speech of, hey, PowerPoint presentation. This is my hamster. Look at it. It's amazing. Okay, no, never mind. We got to go through them a bit quicker because this is going to be a very long video otherwise. Okay, what did we do last time around? We went to Australia. Look, Australia was cool this year. It was totally different than last year. Last year we had a lot of variety where we had 2 or 3 front runners that we knew from the start would go for the win. It was Kate Miller-Heidke, we had Electric Fields and Shepherd, that we all knew those 3 were going to fight for the win. This year it was totally different. I think all 10 songs had a chance to win. All 10 songs were really kind of cool. They're all above a 5, I would say, definitely. But nothing was really amazing. It was a bit stale maybe in variety-wise. Overall, I think in the end the live performances were quite cool. Winner wasn't necessarily my favorite, but hey, it doesn't really matter. I think Australia would deserve an okay. Because it was still okay, right? Last year was amazing, and then I think if you go down a few notches, you get okay. I don't think it was quite because I still enjoyed watching the show and still enjoyed all the performances. So okay is a good placement. It's worse than Romania though. Yes. Up next, let's go to Denmark. Denmark was this year really hampered by the empty arena. You could see that all the performances, they were a bit empty, a bit hollow maybe, but you cannot really fault them for that because, it's very understandable that you make that decision, no audience. But it does suck. I think overall last year was a bit more diverse, a bit more high quality in songs, but still this was quite good. I think all the good songs were there. Also this one, like Australia, was all above a 5, or would have been okay. Would it all done good at Eurovision? Probably not. I think Benetton was the perfect decision. I think the other favorite, Human, was a bit that was probably the biggest letdown of that show. It wasn't really good live. I think I'm gonna put it in the same category in B tier, and I think it was a bit worse than Australia these times, but it's not really their fault because empty arena. This makes sense. Up next, let's see, who did we do as well? We did that's not Czech Republic, that's Poland, mate. Poland had an interesting one this year. They were like, Junior Eurovision did well. Let's do the same success for fun success, because Sanzana success. Let's do the same formula for normal Eurovision. Good idea, really good idea. Execution-wise, it was a bit weird, wasn't it? The way they selected the artist was a bit odd, and then it was make 3 songs. The chance that all those 3 songs are amazing quality is not very high. Why the hell am I doing this then? Well, the chance that those songs were going to be super high quality wasn't super high. I don't think they were all good. I think the winner was deserved. Lucy was kind of okay, but the other song was could have done without. I think it was really weird how they selected let's pull down a rope and you go first, Albert. Really weird. It was just a bit of a freak show maybe. Interesting to see what they'll do next, because it did work for Junior Eurovision 2 times in a row now, and I could definitely see it working out someday for them. I don't know if Alicia has been said, okay, go, you can go. But yeah, interesting to see what they do for the future. Execution-wise, it was just a bit weird to see as a Eurovision selection show. So let's put it in category, but it's definitely the best of the S so far. Agree? I do. Okay, let's move on. Serbia, Beovizija. I think Beovizija had the worst winner of any national selection this year. I'm not a fan of that kind of music, and it's just kind of my thing, I guess. I know it had a lot of fans, but the live performance, you gotta admit, was really bad. I think all of the three singers looked like they were not at home performing the song, and I hated how it was like a hurricane behind their names, or behind their performance. It was just like, oh, we're so full of ourselves, look at us. Hate it. But, you know, a selection show isn't the winner. You know, it's more than that. But overall, I think last year's Beovizija was a bit better standard-wise. I always look forward to Balkan selection shows because, you know, big chance that you have some good Balkan ballads in there, and I absolutely love those. But Beovizija this year was maybe a bit of a little step down from last year. Last year I would probably put it in okay, it was cool. It was a cool show. Didn't have much to say about it. This year, kind of the same, but a little less good than last time. So I'm gonna put it in the category. It was probably between here because it's still better than San Marino. UMK was interesting because it did something new, right? UMK is better. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Let's go for EMA next. Look, EMA, interesting. Interesting one. I went with the fresh logo because that was the new thing that EMA did this year. I think it was a really good, refreshing idea. But I think the execution wasn't. I think it is interesting that you have a bit of a selection show with artists that are super unknown. The rules were you could not have two own songs publicized. And there was like also a view cap, like if you have more than these types or this amount of views, you couldn't participate, right? I thought it was really interesting, really good idea. What isn't a good idea at that point though, those artists probably don't have the budget to make a big song or a good high production song. I think a lot of those songs were kind of like, just gonna sing to a piano, just gonna sing to a guitar, just gonna sing something. And what they should have done is they either should have said, okay, look, you've got a good bass, let's make it good. Let's give you the material that you need to make this a good overall song. Or they could have done what Giovanni does in Italy and say, okay, you are the winner now let's make a good song. That would have been even amazing in my opinion. So I think EMA Fresh had something really, really cool. Probably the best new idea in this entire year, maybe besides one. But it was really lackluster in execution. And also the songs that were already like going into the show were also a bit if that makes sense. So I'm gonna put Fresh in category, but all the way in front of UMK. But really excited to see what they do next year. If they keep the same format, really excited to see what they'll do next year, right? Really. Next. Let's talk about new formats. Melody Grand Prix. Norway was massively hampered by the fact that the final had so many issues. The live voting and stuff kind of crashed, and that was a mess. That was an absolute mess. I'm not gonna lie. That's like some massive reputation that just goes down the drain for them. But when I saw the first semi-final, I thought, wow, this is a really interesting, super good format because it doesn't make sense if one song already beat the other head to head, that song still goes to the final, because why would it win otherwise? Why would it win in that case? That made no sense. So the system made really sense that you have 4 songs and one of those, the winner only, goes to the final. Lovely format. I hated that there were only 5 pre-selected because, you know, why are they better than the rest? What did they use for criteria? I don't think most of those songs were better than this, like the semi-final ones. And the massive downfall was that, like, in the beginning you had this high standard. All 4 songs were incredible in the first show. Absolutely incredible. How long the shows took, it went downhill massively from show 1. And yeah, that really sucked. And it just dragged on a bit too long, probably. It was like 6 weeks now in total, with a bit of a break, I think, to the final. Bit too long for my likings, but it was still a really interesting new format, and I love to see what they're gonna do next. I love draws. I love live draws. I love it when World Cup draws happen. I love it when Eurovision draws happen. I love this when the draws happen live for our in front of our eyes. I loved it. So I think the idea is A+, absolutely amazing. Execution-wise, it wasn't good in the final, and it dragged on too long. So I think B tier is a good solution. It was better than Australia, not better than Romania. I think that makes sense. Okay. Massive cliffhanger. We're going to continue next episode because it's already getting very long and I still have a lot to go through. So I think it's better to just split this in 2 episodes as well, because else the viewing time would be way too long. So cliffhangers work. It's my system. No, it's not my system. Yeah. I'm going to see you guys in the next episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with friends. I could really use it. Let's make this channel go big. I'm going to try and upload as much stuff for you as possible. I'm going to try and think of creative ideas, and also let me know what you want to see, because that really helps me out a lot, because I could really provide you guys with some good material. Yeah, let's see how the rest of this ranking will go, and I hope you enjoyed part 1. See you at part 2. Goodbye.